I'm Todd Myers. I live in Cle Elum, Washington, and I work for the Washington Policy Center.
From his home in the eastern foothills of the Cascade Mountains, Todd Myers seems an unlikely leader of the opposition to Washington State's Climate Commitment Act, a carbon cap-and-trade system that was the #1 priority of Democrat and former Governor Jay Inslee. Myers, a free market conservative, admits he's not a scientist and doesn't argue over the effects of carbon on the planet. His first environmental policy job was at the State Department of Natural Resources.
One of the things that I have tried to do as a conservative is explain to people on the right why being good stewards of the environment is consistent with our beliefs, not antithetical. But the environmental movement has made the environment the enemy of prosperity and freedom and things like that. And too often conservatives believe that framing that has been imposed on us by the left, and we should reject it.
But at the same time, Myers has made a cottage industry out of discrediting the Democrats' carbon tax. Since 2023, it's taken $4.7 billion from the largest carbon emitters, but they just pass along their cost to consumers through higher grocery bills, higher utility costs, and up to an additional 57 cents on every gallon of gas we buy.
They say it's an existential crisis. They say we can't wait. They say that we have to maximize the CO2 reduction as quickly as possible to save the planet. And I say, okay, let's say those are the goals. Does your policy achieve any of those goals? And the answer is no. It fails badly at achieving all of those goals.
Myers' source for that conclusion? The Department of Ecology's own reports on how the money is being spent. 70%, he says, has nothing to do with reducing CO2 emissions, and the rest, a masterclass in waste.
I can almost throw a dart at a dartboard and say, okay, here's a program, let's look at how this money is spent, and be almost certain that the money is being wasted.
Among the examples, buying electric heat pumps for low-income homeowners.
In their report, they report that the cost to reduce 1 metric ton of CO2 using those sorts of things is $40,000. By way of comparison, on the private market, you can reduce a metric ton of CO2 for $10. So it costs 4,000 times as much to do this government program as you could on the private market.
And helping people buy electric vehicles.
I found that for $45 million, they reduced transportation-related CO2 emissions by 0.03% for 1 year. Nothing. Zero. I mean, it's incredible.
Millions of dollars were given to counties to teach kids how to ride bikes. And an $8 million grant appears to be nothing but political graft.
In one case, the group that got the money created a board of 7 people who are their own members and paid them $2,000 each to be on this board to discuss air quality. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's just corruption.
Todd's the guy that just before the exam you say, hey, can I sit next to you? Because he did it. He read all 500 pages. He's got notes that he can easily transcribe. He did the work. He does the work for us.
There we are with the John Curley Show. Thank you.
John Curley has interviewed Todd Myers many times on his afternoon drive show on Cairo Radio.
They're going to take the Climate Commitment Act money, and then they're going to really start reducing CO2. So it's been a while now, Todd. Have we seen that?
Well, no.
He says Myers just wants the numbers to make sense. And when it comes to the carbon tax, they never do.
This money, the billions of dollars, is going to people that are benefiting from it. Not the environment, not anyone. And for the guy that's making $35,000 a year that is now spending far more money on his gas, he's not being served. He's being ripped off.
Myers does try to get the ecology department to see their mistakes, but says he's usually blown off. Until it becomes impossible.
When I released my report, they were forced to retract the report and admit that I was right.
Being a thorn in ecology's side is not what drives Todd, but it does add clarity.
So that's why they reject me, because what they hear from me is a personal attack. Even when I'm just pointing out data, because they have internalized it, it is an identity issue for them, not a problem to be solved.
For these people, this climate change stuff is a religion. right? So it's a blasphemy to even question it. Every dollar spent, regardless of whether it does anything or not, is important to worshiping, the green energy god.
In addition to stopping government waste, Myers' other big goal is for conservatives to go on the green offensive, using technology, innovation, and market-based ways to promote individual stewardship.
We need to change how we approach the environment, and we can't be afraid of it as an issue. It is one thing to stop bad policies, but if we're really going to change, we need to offer a better alternative. And the beauty is that there are better alternatives. And if I really were going to have an impact, that's the impact that I want to have, to speak to people about why they need to change how they think about the environment.